$2,400 if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and Railroad benefits. Still in play with a 20% increase lifetime and a step up annually. Meantime, what's going on in that CR? Incredible great news as a top Democrat and a top Republican come out overnight and say, you know what? I'm not supporting this junk unless there's a stimulus check in there. Were they wearing a purple tie when they said it? Amen. Meantime, the push also to get an eviction moratorium in the CR. Then, viewers ask, what about that stopgap? Well, you know what? I love the Gap. They have wonderful shirts. This is the Gap. But, no, we don't need a stopgap. And no, we don't need to stop anything except that darn hairstyle from San Francisco. Meantime, more viewers get big grants, and the progress is being changed as cities, states, counties are announcing free money across the board. This is stimulus checks, state stimulus checks for everyone, including SSI and SSDI and Social Security and Railroad benefit viewers. And that's on top of the stimulus check we're talking for the federal government. It's a great afternoon. We're not problem creators, we're problem annihilators. You're here, I'm here, and I'm so glad you joined me on a great afternoon, a Saturday afternoon of Afternoons LALATE. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I'm so glad you're here in the first tape recording of a day in which I've gone live twice and had a ball talking live with you. I'm so excited for you because the push to the purple power is working. As Republicans and Democrats today say they're not supporting that CR, that congressional budget bill, unless there's a stimulus check in it. Amen. I have all these breaking details coming up in this video, but I want you to subscribe because new developments are happening from Georgia to California, New York to Texas, where free money is coming out from your cities and states. And I want to ensure that you get this free money in addition to escalated benefits and EIDL that's available to you now and will not be available to you perhaps as early as next week. December 15th is around the corner. So subscribe because there's massive new free money coming out. And I'm announcing it live, taped, live. I don't want you to miss a broadcast. I want you to subscribe and also hit that alert button. So when I go live, because something is so important that I don't think I should tape it, I need you to get it live. I want to make sure you don't miss me. And thank you for the incredible people who tuned in live this morning on Mornings LA Live, which was rare, and Holidays LA Live in the middle of the day. Coming up later on today's recordings is Purple, in which I'll go over big money you can get free from your states and escalated benefits and EIDL. And right after that, being a Mitch, I will go live and answer your questions about unemployment assistance because you need to make sure you do the certain things I go over in that video to ensure you get money and escalate benefits and PUA, FPUC. Major developments breaking today. In this video, there's so much coming up. Also like this video. I forgot to say that. In this video, I have so much coming up today, which is first, incredible progress as Republicans, yes, Republicans, and now Democrats are holding hands, kumbaya, and saying, you know what? We are the stimulus defenders, and we want to ensure that we're stimulus check defenders, and we want to ensure that a check is in here. Meantime, if you tune on Fox News, if you tune on NBC News, if you tune on CNN, if you tune on conservative news, the lead story today is, where the hell's the darn stimulus check? It's like waiting for Waldo, or where in the world's Carmen San Diego goes Congress. Meantime, the problem creators are under fire for not including a stimulus check and eviction moratorium. And then the question about mortgage forbearance is really causing some confusions. Is there a protection for mortgages after January 1st or not? That breaking development is unfolding today. I got to go over that with you as well. And then the exciting news about $2,400 for SSI and SSDI. Where is that? When is that coming? How about FPUC? Is FPUC retroactive? A lot of things and a lot of details. I'm going to make it as simple as I can for you. And with that, let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news is first the checks. Stimulus checks. Everyone needs a stimulus check now. No one wants to wait to January, nor some people can't even wait financially to January. And so the importance of a stimulus check right now is being understood. Today, broadcast news, whether it's Fox or NBC, is leading with the same story, that Republicans and Democrats are holding hands. The most conservative Republicans and the most liberal Democrats are holding hands on one issue. The purple power issue, your issue, my issue. Stimulus checks in the CR and eviction moratorium. It's like you've never seen something like this happening. Josh, not to refer to these people as representative of that categorization, but Republican Senator Josh Hawley and Republican Representative AOC, which, according to even a Fox News article, are the opposite ends of the political spectrum. That's their words, and it is relatively true, are now holding hands on the same thing. Stimulus checks to be concluded in the next corona relief bill. This is Fox News saying this. Amen. The new development is that Republicans and Democrats are basically saying, what's going on here? You need a stimulus check. I don't even need to read the quote. You know what the quote says. Both the Republican and the Senate and the Democrats say you need a stimulus check, and I'm not supporting unless there's a stimulus check. Bernie Sanders, I'm not supporting unless there's a stimulus check. Joe Biden, I'm not supporting unless there's a stimulus check, and there is a stimulus check in play in the negotiations, $1,200. Now, let me answer some questions about the stimulus check. Some people are going to say, is it taken out for child support? Is the dependent $1,200? Is the adult dependent $1,200? How many people in the household? Don't really know these developments. All we know is the number $1,200 was said by Joe Biden. 2, it is in negotiations. And 3, you would get this stimulus check 10 days from the day at which it becomes law. December 11th is the deadline to get this done deal. That means it has to be signed by the president. December 11th is the date. You pull out your calendar, you add 10 days to that. Now, if it's a Sunday, don't send me tweets saying, how do you get a check on Sundays? That's like some special math. Yes, it is special math. If you have a special Larry Kudlow calculator, you'll get your check on Sunday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. No, you know what I mean. 10 days, add 10 days to December 11th. Now, the stopgap, which has wonderful jeans. Their jeans are on sale on Tuesday, and their t-shirts are wonderful. The stopgap, I shop there all the time for my clothes. The stopgap bill is not a bill. It's a proposal. It's a chatter. It's gossip. It's sort of like who did Nene's hair today. It's just gossip that they're going to extend the December 11th deadline another week. My opinion, never going to happen. I just don't see it's going to happen. They have to approve the extension. It's not like they got to agree upon that thing, and they're not agreeing upon anything else. You think they're going to agree upon an extension? No, I don't think that. And you know what? I don't think Joe Biden is going to let any Democrat agree to that, because Joe Biden wants this done right now, and you and I do as well. So why are we extending it a week? No, I don't see that happening. Let's go back to the check. So the check is now in play. What's going on here? What's going on here is you and me. It's going on here is you and me, because Joe Biden certainly gave rank and file and the Democrats authorizations to support the problem creators bill on Thursday at some point. But then someone woke up and said, wait a second, there's stuff missing in the problem creators bill. And who was the wake-up call? My prediction, Senator Harris from California. Joe Biden confirmed yesterday that he had been speaking a lot to Senator Harris about this CR, this continuing resolution. Who's Senator Harris? She's the one that wanted to give you $2,000 a month for 6 months until the pandemic ended. She's the one that wrote the bill with Senator Bernie Sanders to say, you need stimulus checks and that $1,200 is not going to count. Do you think she's going to roll over and not give you stimulus checks? Who also wrote the bill about eviction moratoriums? If you've been with me for a few weeks, and thank you for bringing me to 340,000 subscribers on this wonderful, wonderful family here. Kamala Harris also wrote the bill about eviction moratoriums. She had a separate standalone bill she wrote about. And what did Joe Biden say in the last 24 hours? There has to be an eviction moratorium in this bill or I'm not agreeing to this. I think it's the senator from California that's waking people up. That's my opinion. So eviction moratorium and mortgage forbearance and a stimulus check are all in play. Now, one thing I need to clarify, because this is very important for you, is this foreclosure moratorium. There has always been a foreclosure moratorium created by President Donald Trump since about August by an executive order. But it was for Freddie or Fannie Mae federally written mortgages, not from your Chase or your BOA or your Citibank banks, not from your private banks. The federally backed mortgages always had an eviction moratorium to December. That was set to expire. But on Thursday, they extended the moratorium till the end of January. It is not extended for private mortgages, and that's what I really think needs to be in this bill as well. So when I say mortgage forbearance, I mean for all mortgages. It needs to be really protected. So what's going to happen next? Well, President Donald Trump says that he will defer to Mitch McConnell on this, that ultimately whatever Mitch McConnell wants to do, he'll do. What's really interesting is that President Donald Trump and Larry Kudlow, through countless interviews, has said they want to give you a stimulus check. So it's not a contradictory for them to give you a stimulus check. That's the first thing. Second, Mitch McConnell has said in the past that he would give you a stimulus check. Third, Larry Kudlow on Friday had the most incredible great words that he said during a CNBC interview. I don't understand what's going on with these negotiations of the CR. There's $600 billion, this is Larry Kudlow talking, there's $600 billion sitting around at SBA of unused PPP money, which can be repurposed for this CR bill. Why are they not repurposing this money? I've been asking them to do this, and for some reason they're not listening to me. He's not the only one that's been saying that, though. I've been saying that, and so has Mitch McConnell. And guess what? We also learned on Friday that a $1,200 stimulus check would only cost $300 billion. So you have enough money. If Mitch McConnell's worried about the $500 billion price tag of his stimulus bill, there's no concern because you could use $300 billion of that PPP money and it wouldn't cost you anything. It's that simple. So that's the incredible good news today. And what's just, it's hard for me to impart the insignificance of this because this is a big one. What I'm about to say is very, very big. The number one news story in nearly every major broadcast channel is why the friggin' hell is there no stimulus check in there? It's just, this is what you want. You want this to be major news to just sort of smack them in the face, say, what are you doing, problem creators, Tom and Jerry? Tom and Jerry are two guys, or it's actually Josh, but I call them Tom and Jerry, are two Republicans out in New York and New Jersey. I don't know when was the last time I saw this as a person who went to school in New York. New York does not represent the Midwest or represent the Southeast or the Southwest or California. And to have two Republicans out of New York and New Jersey saying that you don't need a stimulus check, but that it is good to give $2 million to restaurant owners, shows a lack of focus on what really Americans need. The number one thing that I want you to impart to you as you sit here today is that there is agreement on one thing in these CR proposals. They aren't bills yet, they're proposals. An extension of UI benefits, unemployment benefits, UI, to the end of January. Even if you've lost weeks, they would put you back on coverage. An extension of PUA to the end of January, even if you lost coverage. That's all really good. But if we talk about getting unemployment benefits in the mail, you're not going to get them before the holidays for something that's lapsed. Unemployment is a very slow thing to get from the federal government to the states. It's about a month. A stimulus check comes in 10 days. That's why 150 economists last week said, do a stimulus check now because millions of Americans will have the check in their hand before the holidays. I want to fully disclose one thing, and you know what I'm about to say. I do not subscribe that $1,200 is a sufficient stimulus check. I do not subscribe that one stimulus check is sufficient as either. But what we're doing here is a emergency add-on to a budget bill that's only supposed to have a little bit of stimulus in it. And ultimately, this is just to cover you from December to January. We're not saying we're giving up on $5,000 stimulus of CARES Act 1 money. We're not saying we're giving up on multiple stimulus checks. We're not saying that we're subscribing that $1,200 is sufficient stimulus check amount. It is not. But ultimately, this is better than nothing. Now, how about FPUC and the $2,400 for SSI and SSDI? Where is all that? And hazard pay? Where are all those things? Let me explain that. You're going to hear me say even more than ever before, because you heard it about 3 weeks ago, third stimulus package. Second stimulus package, now. Third stimulus package, January. What's third stimulus package? Everything that you thought was going to be second stimulus package is going to be in third stimulus package. FPUC, $600 a week, retroactive to August. That's what Joe Biden's promising. Hazard pay, $10,000, $13 an hour, retroactive to January of this year and going forward to June of next year. $10,000, essential workers, Uber and Lyft, frontline workers, all of you. SSI and SSDI, $2,400 as a standalone stimulus check just for my SSI, SSDI, Social Security and Railroad benefits and veterans. That's $200 a month, every month, all the way to December of next year. Plus a one-time lift that could be as high as 20% depending on the individual, and a new benchmark that would raise your benefits annually based upon a new indicator that it would tie your benefits to. Every year they look and see how much benefits you should get, and they try to assess them higher, but they've been tied to COLA, cost of living adjustment, which doesn't move. So they want to use a new benchmark, a benchmark that moves as eggs and milk and things like that move, all as a standalone stimulus bill. Finally, EIDL, another round of EIDL grants, CDC grants, all that would be in the third stimulus package. So where do we sit here today? And how about that money, free money from your cities and states? What's important to understand is that this thing, when we're talking about Representative Hawley and AOC and Biden and everyone else to get this stimulus check in the CR, the earliest you could see it is, the latest you could see it is the 22nd of December. How about something earlier than that? Yes. So this is why you have to stay with me. The viewers of this channel are getting thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of free money, either stimulus check money or free rent money or free utilities money or free medicine money or free food money because of the efforts of this channel. What's important to understand, and I'm going to cover this more in purple coming up right after this, is that if you had followed my channel over the last 14 days in which I've covered this subject and knew where to look and looked and couldn't find it and gave up, take this story to heart. I had one incredible viewer. This is an incredible anecdote you're just going to love. I had one viewer out of New York, just a very nice, charming person who always would do nice stuff for this channel, would look out and ensure that everyone stays positive. But she had problems with her rent, and she's in New York City. And you and I know that I covered New York City rent-free grants in July. They were gone. They did not exist anymore. So she reached out to me about a week ago and said, I need assistance for a rent grant. I put her in touch with one of the volunteers at youtube.com/LA/community. But I was concerned there was no more rent grants in New York City. And they looked, and there was nothing. They couldn't find it. And ultimately, that viewer said, I'm just giving up. I think I'm going to be homeless. And on the brink of homelessness, on the literally the last next to 2 days of homelessness, I tuned in and went live with you on Purple Power Live. And one incredible viewer said, I got a rent grant in New York City. I said, what? How did you get a rent grant in New York City? I have a viewer, and I have a lot of viewers that can't find rent grants in New York City. Where did you find it? NHA. And I said, NHA. So after I finished the recording, I told the volunteer to reach back out to that individual and tell them about this rent grant in New York, NHA. The volunteer did, and immediately found that the keywords was one stop, like Wingstop, just one. And the viewer got a $5,000 rent grant in 48 hours is no longer on the brink of homelessness and will be covered throughout the holidays. That's the power of this channel. That's the power of being a subscriber. And that's the power of positivity and never giving up. You may think the door is closed. It is just about to open. And as part of this community, you're going to get to the finish line. Thank you for being a part of this community and bringing us to 340. Join me in 10 minutes after this for Purple Power, in which I'll go over how to get this money. And then after that, Bean and Mitch will be live and answering questions about UI, unemployment assistance, PUA, and FPUC, and even retroactive FPUC. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay LA for more.